India Internet Day is just round the corner, and this year it's happening in two cities, connecting the two startup capitals, Delhi and Bengaluru. If you have not registered yet, please do register to catch all the action in the internet space. And on TiElogues today, we are speaking to an internet entrepreneur, Nishant Radia of Viduli. Welcome, Nishant.
Thank
So,
you.
COVID-induced lockdown saw a big boost in the video consumption, and of course, today also you see internet flooded with video content. You
Yeah.
are into the number crunching business around it. Tell us some key trends that you have observed around this.
I think first of all, being in the video ecosystem during COVID, the boost that we saw in consumption is what likely kept us in business, or else we would have been out of business. But what we saw was specifically, I think, in the first couple of months, there were certain categories which picked up immediately. So there was something gaming, kids and animation, specifically food and recipes, and general infotainment. These are the categories that saw huge uptake in terms of viewership. And then when we started drilling into it, uh, obviously there was one reason where people were at home and they were consuming content in these specific categories. But the age group of audiences that were consuming this content was something that made it interesting, because we saw a huge uptake in the 35 to 45-year-old age group of people kind of coming onto the internet and then starting consuming content which were generally thought to be consumed by only millennials. So that was a big change that we saw specifically post COVID.
Okay, but even post lockdown, the video consumption has just picked up, and you see
Yeah.
internet flooded with videos in various categories. So, as you mentioned, the consumption has the pattern has emerged and changed. So, what kind of advertiser interest do you see here? How curious they are? How are they tweaking their advertising and marketing strategies around it?
The one key differentiation that has changed in terms of how the advertising is happening, I'll give you a number. It might not be completely accurate, but when we used to kind of analyze Indian subscribers, right, like let's say Busra, for example, when she's watching YouTube, you would have subscribed to a maximum of about 20 to 25 channels, which content you're following, right? What happened in lockdown was people were introduced to a lot more different kind of content, and they had a lot more time, so they started exploring a lot more, right?
Mhm.
So our average range of audiences that we track, everyone was following more than 60 channels, more than 60 folks, and their content as well. So from an advertising point of view, earlier the first stage was they wanted unique reach. They wanted to reach out to as many newer individuals as possible, right? But now, seeing that how each and every one of audiences are kind of engaged across so many channels, they started focusing more on how to kind of target them more and more. How like a single user needs to be targeted more across different kinds of content that they are consuming. So we started seeing advertisers focus more on engagement and retention as compared to just going after reach. So that's, I think, one big change that we've seen. Because what also happens is, I think advertisers started realizing that it depends when you kind of show an ad to an audience. So,
Mhm.
for example, if someone like me, if you show me an ad when I'm watching a music video versus when I'm watching a web series, the behavior is completely different. And now, because as an audience, I have a huge array of content that I'm consuming, it gives advertisers an option to kind of experiment a lot. So I
Mhm.
think we had a lot of advertisers coming to us to kind of understand the pulse of specific audiences. And it was different all across. Like you'd look at North India, you'd look at East India, everyone was consuming different kinds of content.
Mhm.
The kind of consumption started increasing more on connected TV as compared to mobile, which was dominating. So this is where I think we saw a lot of advertisers kind of spend their money and effort in kind of understanding the space.
Nishank, we are already seeing some consolidation around the content space. You yourself are part of the Good Creator Company. So tell us how content commerce is emerging.
So I think content to commerce is an angle that has kind of grown big. Influencers are driving the market today, uh, along with actual businesses as well. So we see this consolidation to kind of continue. With Good Glam, they've been a pioneer in this, where along with Viduli, there's Scoop Whoop, Miss Malni, Popex. So a lot of content platforms have come together. And I think after that, we've also seen other companies follow the footsteps. So going forward, because, like I said, an influencer has a connect with an audience, and they have a specific type of content that they're creating. If you kind of marry it with the right brand plugins and the right collaborations, I think the content to commerce game, the numbers actually quadruple. So, from a strategy point of view, I think it's a no-brainer that there's more consolidation going to happen.
Okay, great. So tell us about your expansion plan, and here in terms of not just geography but newer platforms. What is your roadmap ahead looking like?
So we've been trying to I think about 2.5 years ago, we as a company took a strategic call that US and European markets are much more matured, and
Okay.
at this point we'd like to focus more on the Southeast Asian market, because when we talk about Asia and when we talk about the entire Asian economy, you somehow kind of neglect India out of it. What comes to your mind is more of China, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, but India as part of that Asian definition does not kind of fall in place. So we wanted to kind of change that. So we started exploring more into the Southeast Asian geographies, and while doing that, we realized that just focusing on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and these social platforms is not enough. So what we've started doing now is we've started making inroads into a lot of short video apps. In India, we've already trying to make inroads into Moj, Roposo, Josh, Takatag, all these apps. We want to help creators kind of also crack these platforms, kind of find out what content works and how they can kind of multiply their growth. And at the same time, we also want to help advertisers decode the behavior of audiences on these platforms. So we're still a couple of months away from building some case studies, but I think the behavior that we're studying right now, the type of creators that we're working with, it's really exciting times ahead for us.
Okay. Nishant, you have been associated with Delhi NCR for some time now. Tell us how this association has helped you in your entrepreneurial journey.
I think one is the network that TiElogues has given us. It's been phenomenal. Right from we've been able to get mentors to meeting like-minded people. We've learned a lot. We've got a lot of customers from TiElogues as well. And I think every now and then, when you kind of get busy with the hustle bustle of funding and growing the business and all, uh, you need to go back to your roots, and that's where TiElogues has helped us a lot. I think whenever we've kind of been too engrossed with everything going, and at times it gets overwhelming. And those are the times when you kind of attend a Thai event. You kind of meet with all the people who've started along with you, who've been also growing, who've been facing similar struggles. It just kind of helps your morale and gives you a great confidence booster and gives you more motivation to continue what you're doing. So I think TiElogues has been more than a family for us.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks so much, Nishant. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much, Pushpa. Lovely speaking.